Okay, now we're going to look at factoring that's slightly more complicated, something that'll have a number in front of the x squared, and sometimes you're fortunate and there's a greatest common factor you can pull out initially. In any factoring, you should always look for the greatest common factor first. So we'll look at a couple of examples that have a greatest common factor. Okay, looking at the first example, 2x squared plus 24x plus 30, it looks like we have a common factor of 2 we can pull out. And 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 12x is 24x, and 2 times 35 is 70. Now we can use the rules we learned before. Two numbers that when multiplied equal 35, and when added give you 12. Well, I believe it is 7 and 5. 7 times 5 is 35, and 7 plus 5 is 12. And you have factored that problem. Okay, if we look at number 2, and again, you should always look at both the numbers and the variables. It looks like we have a 3 that is common to the terms, and the least common, or the common x term, is the least power is x. So it looks like we can pull out a 3x as a common term in this one. And 3x times x squared is 3x squared. And x cubed. 3x times x is 3x squared. And 3x times 12 will give you your 36x. And notice a positive and a minus or a negative, and the minus or negative there. Now you need two numbers that when multiplied give you negative 12, and when added give you positive 1. We don't write 1x. It's understood that that means 1x. X is the same as 1x. And it has to be one positive and one negative. So I believe 4 and negative 3, when multiplied, give me negative 12, and when added, give me positive 1. And that problem is now factored. Now, as you're going to see, we don't always have a greatest common factor. Looking at this one, we look and no, there is no GCF here. You still use the first part of the rule, two factors of positive 7, but you cannot use the second part of our factoring rule where it adds to 10. You have to test it with FOIL. Now, the only way you can get 3x squared when you do the F of FOIL, and we only use integers, not fractions, is if you put in 3x and x, because when you multiply those, you would get your 3x squared. So we can at least get started and write that down. Now, we need factors of 7. Obviously, they both have to be positive, as this is positive and the middle term is positive. So the possibilities are 1 and 7 and 7 and 1. You won't get the same result when you FOIL this. These give you two different answers, so only one of those is correct. So we could try the first one and put in plus 1 plus 7. And if you do the first and last, you know this is going to give you your 3x squared, and that's going to give you your plus 7. So the only thing you really have to test is the outside and inside. 3x times 7 is 21x, and 1 times x is 1x or x. That's 22x, which is not what we're looking for, 10x. So this one didn't work. We'll try change the order now and put in plus 7 plus 1. Again, you only have to check the outside and the inside. 3x times 1 is 3x. 7 times x is 7x. And 3x plus 7x is 10x, which is what we were looking for. So this here is the factored form. Okay, we'll try a few more. Now we have a 2x squared. There's no greatest common factor. So when you set this up, when you do the f of FOIL, you're going to have to put in 2x and x. That's the only way you're going to be able to multiply and get 2x squared. So we can at least get started with that. Now with 12, you have a lot of possibilities. Numbers that can be multiplied to give you 12. And as we saw in the last example, when you switch positions, you don't get the same answer. So you double your number of possibilities. 1 and 12, 12 and 1, 2 and 6, 6 and 2, 3 and 4, and 4 and 3. So we'll start off with the top one. And all you have to do is the inside and the outside. So it looks like we have 24x plus 1x or x is 25x. That doesn't work. Now we'll flip it around. 2x plus 12 and x plus 1. That gives us 2x plus 12x, which is 14x. Again, it's not the 11x we're looking for. Now we'll try the 2 and the 6. That gives us 12x plus 2x, 14x. Again, not the 11x we're looking for. Flipping it around, 2x plus 6 and x plus 2. Outside and inside, that looks like 4x plus 6x. It's 10x, close, but it's not what we're looking for. Now this may seem tedious, but after a while you get a number sense and you get to the point where on your first or second try, you have a better feel for what numbers will probably work. So let's see, 2x plus 3 and x plus 4. Outside and inside, it looks like we have 8x plus 3x, which gives us the 11x we were looking for. That 11x matches. So this is your factored form right here. And to complete FOIL, 2x times x is your 2x squared. We did the outside and inside to get 11x. 3 times 4 is 12. Well, let's try one more. Now, to get 7x squared, if you've been paying attention, you can probably guess what's going to go in here and here to get 7x squared. If you said 7x and x, you're absolutely right. Now, two numbers and one multiplied give you -3, and again, we can't use the rule that they add to -20. These are all the possibilities. -1 and 3, and as we saw, switching positions changes it. 3 and -1, 1 and -3, and -3 and 1. So there's only 4 things we have to try. We'll try the -1 plus 3. That gives us 21x minus x, which is 20x. So that's not it. Now we'll try 3 and negative 1. That gives us negative 7x plus 3x, which is negative 4x. Try the next one. So plus 1 minus 3 7x minus 3, that would give us negative 21x plus 1x or x, which gives us negative 20x, which is what we were looking for. It matches with this. So you found your factored form here. And again, practicing these, you'll get to the point where you can zero in on the correct 2 or 3 best possibilities, especially when you have a lot of different factors.